Hi everyone, it's Rita from Miss Rita to the Rescue, and I'm here today to talk to you about being a Yankee. I am a born in New England gal, as most of you already know about me, and I was raised by two very frugal New England parents, which makes me a Yankee. Not everyone that was born and raised in New England is a Yankee, and I do want to make that distinction. A Yankee is someone who appreciates frugality, who is very patient with things and with people, and a little set in their ways. And I will, there's not all positive things about being a Yankee, but mostly they're mostly positive. One of the great things about being a Yankee is enjoying a lot of really interesting regional and cultural foods. And as you know, I love to cook, I love to bake, and so cooking the Yankee way is something that I really enjoy doing. So I want to show you, as part of this series, I want to show you what it's like to cook in the Yankee fashion. And so today I'm kicking off a series of videos, and the first one is going to be all about Durgin-Park Boston Baked Beans, only because Boston baked beans is something everyone always thinks are so Bostonian or so New England or so Yankee. They're something that I grew up on. We made our own homemade beans, but this is a restaurant. It's now closed, but this is a restaurant that sort of put Boston baked beans on the map. And it was called Durgin-Park Restaurant, and I have been making the Durgin-Park method of baked beans for decades now, and I'm going to show you today how to make them. It's a long process, but believe me, it's totally worth it. So stick with me, and I'm going to show you how these are made. So I think that the hardest part about making these Boston baked beans is the weight and the cooking time. But I wanted to show you a little bit. Let me move this over. This is what I'm using for my bean pot. And you'll notice some of my beans are sticking here because I've already had these cooking for a couple of hours and they're getting a little dry. So we cook these for 6 hours, and we need to continue to make sure that we add water to them, which is what I'm doing here. And this is actually not enough water. I'm going to come back and give it a little bit more. We want to keep these beans baking in a nice amount of water. So I'll put a little bit more in there. I'm going to close it up and send it back to the oven. It's already been a couple of hours, but we've got to do this for a total of 6 hours. And you see the beans are starting to take on that nice brown color. That's from the molasses. And you might be wondering, what is this stuff here? It's salt pork, which is a classic New England thing. It gives a lot of flavor to the beans. You might think it's kind of gross, but it actually is very flavorful. I'll come back and show you the results at 4 hours. Okay, I'm just checking on my beans. They've been in the oven now for several hours. You can see they're really starting to brown up. And I'm going to move them around a little bit because I want to show you. There's this liquid here, and to keep them moist on the top, it's probably a good idea to kind of move them around a little bit. Even, you could add a little bit more liquid as well, but I like to keep them sort of evenly colored and I do that by mixing them around a little bit. And these still have another hour or so to cook. And I've already added water several times to it. I think I might actually put this onion back in there for a little bit of flavor. Kind of throw it in there. In the end, we're going to take out the onion and the salt pork bits, so you don't have to worry about eating big hunks of fat. But over the time that you're making these, the salt pork renders down and it gives off a wonderful flavor, as well as the onion is, and so they're worth adding. I know calories, but definitely worth adding. So here are our official Durgin-Park Boston Baked Beans. They smell luscious and really are made with the simplest of ingredients, including navy beans, some molasses, a half of an onion, some spices, and a little bit of brown sugar. And the key ingredient is salt pork. Salt pork, which is a classic New England ingredient and featured in a lot of our famous recipes. So I do hope that you try these. They smell luscious and they taste even better. I do hope that you try to make these. I give you all of the ingredients list and the full recipe on my blog. It's going to be, a link is going to be in the detail page of this video. So do follow the link, try them out, and let me know what you think. Thanks for joining me today on the first of, I hope, many Yankee Traditions videos here on the Miss Rita to the Rescue YouTube channel. Please, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. And I hope to see you again when we talk about my next recipe called a raspberry lime Ricky. If you are a child of the 60s, 70s, or even 80s, you're going to want to stay tuned so you know how Brigham's made these wonderful, refreshing drinks out of raspberry syrup, fresh lime, and soda, club soda. So I hope you do stay tuned. We'll see you soon.